What would you do if you had a badass grandfather try to kill not only you, but also your innocent cat? We're going to talk about all that and more on today's review of Black Torch, Episode 2. What is up? Welcome back. Welcome if you're new. My name is Mark, and if you want to see the reaction to Black Torch Episode 2, you can check it out on Patreon in the description down below. I highly recommend you check it out. Go check out the reaction, then come back here for the review. Or check out the review, but make sure you check out the reaction. And also, like and subscribe. Engage with the video because I don't know if people want to see this. If you want to see me talk about this show, make sure you engage with the video. Like, comment, subscribe, watch the video, engage with it, just do all that stuff. But with that said, if you're new here, strap in. If you've been here before, you know what to do. Grab your snacks, grab your drinks, grab your notebooks because I took a lot of notes and we're going to talk about the episode. So, this episode starts out with where we last left off, with Jiro being on the ground unconscious. And two guys in masks and stuff, supposedly they're two detectives, they're bickering about moving Jiro because he's unconscious. They gotta move him, but one of them's concerned because he's a possessed guy. And so Ichika, the girl with the sword, I think, yeah, sword, she just decides to just drag his unconscious body by the ankle. And I mean, fair enough, man, it works. But like, yeah, I do think the wording that they used, possessed, was interesting, and that's why I wrote it down as well. But we don't get to know more about that until a little later. But meanwhile, Jiro, he has a dream about like everything that happened in like he's in like some kind of white space where like a dream world, I guess, maybe something like that. But he's wondering, that actually happened? Wait, an ogre? But then Rago is like, yo, it happened, man. Wake up. And so Rago wakes Jiro up, essentially. I don't know if that's exactly how it goes, but he basically wakes up after talking to Rago. And so, let me see. Oh, right. And Ichika is there, and she's on the phone with the chief guy. And so she's she's just not having anything. And both Jiro, but specifically Rago, comment on her bad bedside manner, which, yeah, she has some really shitty bedside manner, man. But oh well, it is what it is. It happens, man. And so because Rago had appeared on his head, everyone's like, yo, he's a cat on his head. And turns out Jiro was worried about Rago. Rago had Jiro worried because turns out Rago isn't really dead. He's just possessing Jiro. And yeah. Let me see here. And so the chief walks in and Rago is wary of him. He's not exactly meaning to be harmful towards him yet, but he's wary of him, which is valid concern. And we get to learn the name of the chief. His name is Shiba Ryosuke. And Ryosuke asks Jiro if he is familiar with the Oni Waban. Speaking of the Oni Waban, I also should mention with the reaction on Patreon, the first 8 minutes of the episode and my reaction to it weren't there. They just straight up weren't. Because the first half, like the first 8 minutes, got corrupted with the recording. So I had to just move on without it. But yeah. Anyways, the reaction's like 50-ish minutes long. Highly recommend you check it out. But we learn about the Oni Waban, which is an undercover agency. It's undercover people that worked for the Edo Shogunate. The Edo Shogunate. And the reason I was like kind of confused because of my writing. I can usually read my own writing, but sometimes I write a little too fast, so might not be able to read that. But anyways, the organization specializes in undercover intel and counter intel as their bread and butter, but their like main thing is finding and destroying Mononoke. And then I asked the question of all the Mononoke or just like the evil ones, depending on what evil means in this sense. And but yeah, the organization's been around since the Edo Shogunate period, which is a long time ago, I'm pretty sure. but it's still around because it just adapted and kept going and eventually ended up as the Bureau of Espionage, which is pretty cool, man. Meanwhile, Ryosuke says that Mononoke rarely cause any major incidents, and I asked a few questions. Why? Just to not get caught, or is there more to it than that? Is there someone keeping them in line that's not from the Bureau of Espionage? Is there like a hierarchy among the Mononoke? That's a real question I have. But recently, they've mostly dealt with the humankind. The Bureau of Espionage has mostly dealt with the humankind. And apparently his department had it pretty easy. Until recently. A band of Mononoke attacked one of their facilities. I asked the question of why, then I also asked the question of how, and we get the answer very quickly. Turns out, that's the facility that Rago was sealed inside of. And I guess it makes sense putting two and two together like that. But that's interesting. And they really wanted his power free, that's what I wrote down. And the thing is, because they were so willing to go up against the Bureau of Espionage, they're like, it's like, why do they want his power so much? What for? Who actually is orchestrating all this? Who wants his power to be used for them? I have questions like that. I don't know if we'll ever get the answer to them. But Ichika calls. Okay, so I have like, it's not completely in the same order, so I have to like figure out which is which. So point 7 is that Ichika calls Jiro dumb after learning like everything that led up to where he is now. And it's really hard for me to like her, man. I haven't seen a single redeeming quality about her yet. Genuinely just not a single redeeming quality. But anyways, moving on. Turns out they are fused together, according to Ryosuke, and if they don't do anything, they will be fused forever. Which, to be fair, I've heard of worse things that could happen. At first, I wondered if this was like a Chainsaw Man situation with like Pochita and Denji being together, like being kind of fused in that way, but no. This is more of a literal fusion of like possession. And but unfortunately, the Bureau of Espionage, or at least the chief and him and his people, they don't know how to undo the fuse. Not surprising, but they do know how to search for a way, which better than nothing, I guess. And unfortunately for Jiro, he's kind of stuck there because they want to take him into protective custody for his safety. And before he can protest, turns out they already made arrangements for a missing person report. And so he's like, yo, the police are already taking care of with the missing person report. Arrangements have already been made. Like, yeah. And Ryosuke says that Jiro isn't a little kid anymore and will take responsibility for what he's done. And fair enough, but at the same time, how much responsibility should he really be taking? Should he really be taking complete responsibility for helping out? Shouldn't, like, I don't know, Chief and them take responsibility for letting the ogre escape? I don't know, man. I don't know how the ogre ended up there compared to them, so who knows, man. And so basically, to protect him, they are forcing him into their custody, which not surprising at all. And moving on. I wrote down that I hope we see the grandpa again, because I like the grandpa. He was pretty cool from what we saw him. And first thing in the morning, Jiro is being sent to another facility, which I'm not surprised. And apparently they also have guards outside to protect him, quote unquote. In reality, me and Jiro both know, and I mentioned this in the reaction before we get to this, get to Jiro saying anything, but I mentioned that he's basically like a prisoner, or he called the guards that are outside to protect him prison wardens, were just funny to me. And so Rago decides to like get Jiro's head on straight and tells him it's no use crying over spilt milk, or no use crying over what already happened. And he also says that they aren't gonna treat him with kids gloves if he stays, and he deals with them because which makes sense because he also says that they are the ones who sealed him away after all. And you know, we're all talking about Jiro here, but we should also be talking about Rago. It's gotta suck for him, man, having to interact with the people, maybe not the exact people, but like the organization that sealed him away for so long. We gotta think about him for a minute, man. Poor Rago, man. But Jiro, he's not gonna sit around. He plans to bust out and kick some ass, and he says he's gonna do what he wants. Which, fair enough, man. If you can handle the consequences, fair enough for him. And so he does escape successfully, might I add, with the help of some crows. Because honestly, being able to talk to animals came in really clutch here. Because like he opened the window, or the window was already open, looks out, bunch of crows, asks them for help. They help. The guards are not great, also, by the way. They were pretty. They had to like call the higher ups first before they could do anything. It's just they were struggling, man. But Jiro goes or is going somewhere, but he stops by to say thank you to the crows. He got them some snacks too, which is cool. He's a nice guy, man, honestly, when it comes to the animals. But instead of like running far away, Jiro goes home. He needs to go home first to see his Gramps and tell him the truth, because he wants to not only tell him the truth, but also he wants to make sure he knows before the missing persons report gets out. And so, but he also says that he's gonna tell him the truth, and he says that he'll believe him. And I kid you not, before we did anything else, I was like, oh, the grandpa is gonna be dead, isn't he? I genuinely was like, oh, I could see this happening, being like, oh, they killed him off, they silenced him. It was either that, or I predicted that he would be a member of the Bureau of Espionage. And, bro, I was right. I wasn't banking on that being the decision. I was banking on him knowing like the truth about Mononoke. I definitely believed that he would know that much, and would believe Rago. But I didn't believe about Jiro and Rago. But I did not think that he would actually be a member of the Bureau of Espionage. But it's funny that I was actually very right with that one, because and Gramps takes him to a like a battlefield, like some kind of like football field, I think, or soccer field or something, and says that he knows. He heard from Shiba Ryosuke, and I wrote down, I called it that he was either gonna be found dead or was one of the people in the know. I literally wrote that down so I could mention it if I forgot. And moving on, Gramps is he's upset at what Jiro did, and that everything that he did with Arago and all that. And so he's made a decision. He is going to destroy Jiro and Rago both, so that the Bureau and Mononoke can't exploit him. And then, because that's not enough, he'll also be taking his own life at the end there after he's done all that. And I wrote down, in his own way, he really loves his son. Not his son, his grandson. And also, he's aura farming, bro. Bro, when he's saying like the whole, I will destroy you and both, and all that, like he's aura farming. He's just pure aura. And bro, it ends up just being an aura farming fest. And so he starts a fight. And he's like, yo, I'm gonna kill you. And so he does. But he's also pissed, because he's pissed. And I wrote down, it's kind of fair actually that he's pissed, because he raised this grandson. And this grandson went in. He didn't choose to do this, but he did go and end up fusing with a Mononoke. Not just any Mononoke though, a strong one. And then he's on the radar of both the Mononoke and the Bureau of Espionage. He just can't catch a break, man. And so Gramps is just one shot, not completely one-shotting him, but he's just winning, bro. And he says the Azuma family's ways, like techniques and all that, are an art that is deadly to man and Mononoke alike, and that is a hard line, bro. And he also says he only had a chance to teach Judo the basics. And I wrote down, damn, bro is badass. And he's about to kill him, bro. Literally, genuinely about to kill him. But Rago jumps in and protects him. Protects Jiro with a block and sends him back. And then he also lectures Jiro at the same time. Because of course he does, man. And, but before Rago starts to be like, yo, I can help you. I'll help you, man. Let's do this. But Jiro forces Rago to go back. Because he has said, don't come out until I tell you to. And damn, he just took control like that. And I feel bad for Rago, man. He was just trying to help. And so, seeing that, Gramps has a flashback to, what's it called? I forgot. Back to Judo's, like, childhood. When, Nachi, the dog, the talking dog that, not talking dog, the dog that can talk to Jiro, talks to the Gramps and tells him that Jiro's in trouble because Jiro is in a tree trying to rescue a cat that got stuck up there. And it was an adorable scene until he slipped and almost died right then and there. But Gramps caught him because of course he did. And Gramps then proceeds to lecture him and tells Jiro that helping others is honorable, but he must have the strength and resolve to do so. And I wrote down, he's spitting facts. He is. Because like, it's all well and good to want to help people. But if you cannot successfully help them without needing to be helped yourself, are you really helping them? Or are you more just causing problems, in a way? Like, yeah, he's wrong. He's not wrong. He's right. And we get a shot. And later on, we also get a shot of Gramps and Nachi back in the day when they were part of the Bureau, because he's having a lot of flashback moments, man. And I wrote down, why is Nachi dripped out, bro? She's dripped out, bro, and so is he, to be fair. But anyways, the grandpa then says, and he's like getting serious, he then says, I fought to protect you, grandson, so you never have to set foot in that hell. And damn, that is a line, bro. And that's sad too, that he's like, cause like, I wrote down that Gramps has the right to say whatever he wants, cause like he knows from experience, like he's dealt with the Mononoke and he's dealt with the Bureau. So if he calls it hell, you should believe him that it's hell. And so they're about to finish it, but first, Jiro says sorry, and that he was being stupid, but that he has no regrets. And then he says, this is his resolve. Because if you remember, Gramps had said that it's honorable to help people, but you must have the strength and resolve to do so. So this is a good callback to that. And so him saying that this is his resolve, that got me emotional, bro. Ooh, goosebumps. And even though I almost had a tear in my eye, bro, that's how good that was. And so Gramps is going to finish this. And he's about to finish him off. Literally about to finish him off. But as he's about to, and as Rago is like, Judo! Judo's like, yo, I got this. And so last minute, Gramps brings his fist in, about to finish him off. And Judo does what most shonen protagonists have done at least once. He pulls his head back and headbutts the fist. And I cannot... he is not the first shonen protagonist to do that. And he won't be the last. It's just really funny to me. But... he's like, still standing somehow. The shot, though, when the head collided with the fist, dope. But he's standing still. He's in one piece, surprisingly. And Gramps is damn, man. Gramps is surprised, impressed even, but then he's like, I still see half a man. And then then Jiro says, for better or for worse, he is not alone. And that he knows how to attack, that he will ask for help. He knows that he has to ask for help occasionally. Because that's also something that Gramps had told him in the past was, you gotta ask for help if you can. And so, yeah. And meanwhile, as he's like acknowledging, looking at Rago as like, yeah, I'm not alone anymore, Gramps is thinking to himself, for us the viewers, and says that the label of human, animal, and Mononoke are inconsequential to him, and that he treats them all the same. And that's how it should be, man. You should treat every living creature equally like that, man. And so, with all that said, Gramps surrenders. He takes off his bandana, waves the white flag, and I wrote down, unironically, he looks a lot better without the bandana. I already thought he was a 10 out of 10. He's a 12 out of 10 without the bandana. But moving on to that, like, they're back at the house now, and Jiro, he's soaking in a in a hot bath after all that work, man, and I don't blame him. And he says sorry to Rago for dragging him along into all this, and that's a good apology. And Rago, he pulls off the classic tsundere move, and he's like, it's fine, don't mention it, but next time, don't knock on death's door alone, sort of thing. Like, he's a tsundere in that moment, man, but like, at the same time, he says, don't knock on death's door, don't rush off to knock on death's door alone. And the alone there was very big, man. And so, meanwhile, while that's happening, Gramps gets a call from Shiba. And Shiba says that they are sending a vehicle for Jiro tomorrow. And basically, he says that Jiro will be like them. Him and Gramps. Trailblazer and go-getter. And interesting. I don't know how I feel about him joining the Bureau of Espionage, honestly, in any capacity. I don't know. I feel like it'd be more interesting if he did it. If he, like, went on his own. Well, on his own to an extent, but was, like, more independent. He moved on his own, but he worked with them occasionally. I think that'd be pretty cool. Especially because Gramps is there to help out. And, that's basically how the episode ends. And I will say, I hope after this we still see more of the Grandpa. He should be a recurring character. I would be happy if he was. But at the same time, if he isn't, I'll be sad unless we get to see him at least once every couple episodes. But yeah, this was a great episode. I enjoyed this a lot, bro. Bro got me emotional. Got me goosebumps too, man. It looked phenomenal, man. I wish more people were checking this out. Like, for reactors and stuff, or reviewers. Like, I think people are missing out, man. But, yeah, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. What do you think of my thoughts? What do you think of my recap? What do you think of my review? And, of course, what do you think of my reaction if you watched it over on Patreon? Make sure you comment down below here and over on Patreon for that. But, yeah, like and subscribe, turn on the notification bell. Engage with this video, as I said. Because I'll only keep making videos on this if people want to see it. If they don't, fair enough. I'll do something else, because I have 2 shows that I upload on Saturday. But with that said, thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, my name is Mark. Never stop being yourself, stay safe, and I will see all you incredible people in the very next video.